Good afternoon folks, another quick update from EICMA here in Milan, where we are back in the main auditorium where we were earlier on for Honda's main new model press conference, and we have got a little bit of time on the stage with basically pretty much all of Honda's new 2025 models, and the one that I've selected to talk to you about first is the GB350S. It's another big news story from Honda. They've had quite a lot of big news stories this year. The big news is that this bike is finally making it out of the Asian continent and it is coming to Europe and the UK, which is good because there was a lot of noise made when this thing was released and people were saying, why isn't it coming to the UK? Why isn't it coming to Europe? Why is it staying as an Asian market only bike? But it's not anymore. It is coming. It is a 20 horsepower bike. It's got a 21 pound-foot of peak torque, air-cooled single overhead cam engine, 2-valve single cylinder. It's, you know, mechanically it's about as simple as motorcycling gets, which I think is something that appeals to a lot of people. Motorcycles are getting ever more complicated and electronically focused, and this is a bike that harks back to an era when none of that mattered and none of it even existed. It is also priced to sell. This thing is going to be landing in UK dealerships at 3,949 quid. It's going to be going toe to toe with bikes like the Royal Enfield Hunter 350 and some of the other retro stuff in that lightweight A2 sector. But it is very, very competitive. A long stroke engine, so it's going to have this nice sort of soulful feel that Honda are talking about. And it's important to note this bike is not, you know, it's not a Thai built bike. This is made in Honda's own proper factories back in Japan. So this is a bike that we have really been looking forward to getting in the UK, and personally can't wait to get myself on one to see how it goes. So not massively powerful, not massively torquey, but it should be enjoyable to ride. It is 178 kilograms is the quoted curb weight for this one, so it's definitely not what you would call a porker. But really it is a bike that is meant to look nice and be enjoyable to ride and be accessible to a lot of people, which is why bikes in this middleweight, lightweight A2 sector really do thrive, as Royal Enfield and Triumph with their Speed 400 are showing at the moment by selling lots and lots of motorcycles. So moving on from the GB350S, we have come to probably not what you would call the most exciting motorcycle that is at EICMA, but it is probably one of the most loved by people who own them. It is, of course, Honda's NC750X, which this year has got a big upgrade to the front end. So you've got dual Nissin brake discs at the front with 2 piston calipers. It was a single disc setup, so they're both slightly smaller discs but should give much better brake feel and more braking power. You've also got revised styling, so it's been smartened up, which is a very nice touch. You've got a new TFT screen and you've got a new actual windscreen as well, which should provide a little bit better weather protection than it did before. Suspension wise, we've got 41mm Showa dual bending valve forks. We have got a ProLink mono shock with preload adjustability, and the engine is still the same, easygoing and nice to get along with, 58 bhp and 50 pound-foot, which is also available as a manual or as a DCT bike, which is the one that you can see me standing behind here. Like I said, it's not the most sparkling bike, but in terms of practicality and a bike that you can just get on every day and ride and use as a proper workhorse, the NC750 is revered as that by pretty much everybody who has ever owned one or ridden one. And now we're going to be going to the next bike, which is probably one of the more exciting bikes in the Honda lineup for 2025. So from the NC750X, we come to this, which is the Hornet 1000 SP. So we already knew about the Hornet 1000, kind of had an inkling that the SP was going to be coming from some type approval documents that got published, but this is it in the flesh, and we can finally tell you exactly how it is different from the stock bike. So this is £9,999. The standard Hornet 1000 is £8,999, and over and above the standard bike, this gets an upgraded chassis. So you get a same Showa fully adjustable front forks, but you get an Öhlins TTX rear shock absorber, which is obviously a much more higher spec item than you get on the stock bike. It is available in this color scheme, which I am really very happy about because I think it looks absolutely brilliant, which is this matte ballistic black with the sexy gold wheels, which is absolutely fantastic. Powering this thing, we've got 155 bhp engine, which is taken from one of the older generation Fireblades and has been fettled and tweaked and played with to make it a bit more in the realm of what you would want from a super naked such as this. But this looks like a properly good bike. It's not too track focused like a lot of other sort of super nakeds are. It's more in a road focused naked machine, and the launch of this bike is going to be coming up fairly soon, and I for one cannot wait to swing a leg over it. You've got decent spec electronics, you've got a full screen TFT up the front, kind of everything that you'd want if you weren't the kind of person who was going to be going out and riding you super naked on track and chasing lap times and chasing apexes, which I'm sure it can do, but this is looking like a much more road focused offering from Honda. So aside from these bikes that we've looked at, we've also got some electric offerings as well, including an urban. We've got a concept which is a bit like a sort of urban city plus concept for EV. We've also got a fun bike concept from Honda as well, and there is also the V3 concept, which has got an electrically powered compressor, sort of like an electrically powered turbo mounted on top of the V3 engine. So there's a lot of interesting stuff, and if you want to find out more about the V3, then there's a video already up on the Visordown YouTube channel. You can head over and check that one out. But in the meantime, there are full write-ups of all the bikes that were featured today in the video, and some more from bikes from the EICMA show for 2024. So head over to Visordown and you can check out a little bit more information about all of those, and stay tuned for full launch reports on all of these once we get to ride them.